Have you ever found yourself sitting in your favorite chair, staring out the window, and wondering where the person you used to be went? Maybe it's been weeks, months, or even years since you lost your spouse. And some days, it feels like the weight of that loss is heavier than you can carry. I get it. That emptiness can sneak up on you, whether it's when you're setting the table for one or hearing a song that brings them right back. If you're watching this, chances are you're looking for a way to feel a little lighter, a little more like yourself again. And you know what? You're not alone in this. And there's a path forward, one that doesn't erase the pain, but helps you live alongside it with a bit more peace. Losing a spouse is one of the hardest things any of us can go through, especially as we get older. It's not just losing a partner, it's losing a routine, a confidant, a piece of your everyday life. But here's the thing, even in the middle of that heartache, there are ways to find your footing again. Over the next little while, we're going to walk through 5 essential tips that can help you navigate this grief and step by step rediscover moments of calm and even joy. These aren't quick fixes or empty promises. They're gentle, practical ideas that have worked for so many folks just like you. So, grab a cup of tea or coffee, settle in, and let's start with something simple but powerful. One of the first things that can make a difference is giving yourself permission to feel whatever comes up. I know that might sound strange, like, haven't you already been feeling everything? But sometimes we get so caught up in trying to be strong or keeping busy that we push those emotions down. Maybe you've told yourself you should be over it by now, or you don't want to burden anyone with how sad you still feel. I remember talking to my friend Margaret, who lost her husband of 45 years. She'd smile and nod when people asked how she was, but at home, she'd sit in silence, afraid to let the tears come, because she thought it meant she was weak. Then one day, she just let it out, sobbed for an hour straight while looking through old photos. And you know what she told me? She said it felt like a storm had passed through, leaving her tired, but somehow clearer. The truth is, grief doesn't have a timeline, and it's okay to let it breathe. You might cry one day and laugh the next, and both are part of healing. So, try this. Find a quiet spot, maybe your porch or a cozy corner, and let yourself sit with whatever's there. If you're mad, they're gone. Say it out loud. If you miss their terrible jokes, smile about it. You don't have to judge it or fix it. Just let it be. It's like opening a window in a stuffy room. The air starts moving again, and over time, those feelings won't feel so heavy because you've given them a place to land. Now, once you've started letting those emotions flow, it's natural to wonder what comes next. How do you fill the days that feel so quiet without them? That brings us to something else that can really help. Finding one small thing to look forward to each day. It doesn't have to be big or fancy. Grief can make even getting out of bed feel like climbing a mountain. So we're not talking about running a marathon here. Think simpler. Maybe it's brewing a pot of your favorite coffee in the morning and really savoring it, or taking a short walk to see the flowers blooming down the street. I heard from a lovely woman named Tom, who started feeding the birds in her backyard after her husband passed. She'd sit there with her tea, watching them flutter around, and it became her little ritual, something that wasn't about the past or the future, just that moment. The beauty of this is that it's yours to choose, and it can shift day by day. One day, it might be calling a friend. The next, it could be flipping through a magazine you've been meaning to read. It's not about forcing happiness. It's about giving yourself a tiny anchor, something steady when everything else feels shaky. And little by little, those moments start to string together like beads on a necklace, adding a bit of color back into your life. So, we've talked about letting yourself feel and giving yourself something small to hold on to each day. Those two things alone can start to shift the ground under your feet, making it a little easier to stand. But what about those times when the loneliness creeps in stronger than ever, like at night when the house is too quiet? That's where our next step comes in. And it's all about finding connection in a way that feels right for you. Let's move into that together. Because loneliness can feel like an uninvited guest that just won't leave, especially after losing someone who was your everything. Maybe it hits hardest when the sun goes down and the house feels too big, too still. That's why finding connection, even in small, gentle ways, can be such a lifeline. Now, this doesn't mean you have to rush out and join a dozen clubs or fill your calendar with people. It's about what feels doable for you, something that brings a little warmth back into your world. Take my neighbor Ed, for example. After his wife passed, he started going to the same little diner every Thursday morning. He didn't talk much at first, just sat with his coffee and listened to the chatter around him. But over time, the waitress started asking about his day, and a couple of regulars would nod hello. It wasn't a big, dramatic change, but it gave him a thread to hold on to, a sense that he wasn't completely alone. You can start wherever you're at. Maybe it's picking up the phone to call a friend or a family member, not for a long, heavy talk, but just to hear their voice for a few minutes. Or it could be something like popping into a local library event, even if you only stay for half an hour. If that feels like too much, even writing a quick note to someone, a thank you, or a thinking of you, can spark a connection that lifts you both. The point is, you don't have to rebuild your whole social life overnight. It's like dipping your toes in the water before jumping in. Just a small step to remind yourself there are still people out there who care. And trust me, those little threads of connection can weave into something stronger than you expect, giving you a soft place to land when the quiet gets loud. Now, while reaching out can ease that ache of being alone, there's another piece to this that's just as important: taking care of your body, even when you don't feel like it. I know. Grief can zap every ounce of energy you've got. Some days, brushing your teeth feels like a victory, and that's okay. But here's the thing. Even tiny acts of care can start to pull you out of that fog. Think about how your spouse might have nudged you to eat something or get some rest. They'd want you to look after yourself now, too. I remember my Aunt Clara telling me how after losing her husband, she'd forget to eat all day, then wonder why she felt so shaky. One morning, she made herself sit down with a piece of toast and some jam. Nothing fancy, and she said it was like her body woke up a little, like it remembered it still had a job to do. You don't need to overhaul your whole routine. Just pick one thing to start with. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water when you wake up, or stepping outside for 5 minutes to feel the sun on your face. If you're up for it, a short walk around the block can do wonders. Nothing fast, just a slow stroll to get the air moving through you. It's not about punishing yourself or meeting some big goal. It's about being kind to the body that's carrying you through this. And here's a little trick. Pair it with something you enjoy, like listening to a song they loved or a podcast that makes you smile. Before you know it, those small acts stack up, and you might find yourself feeling a bit steadier, a little more grounded. So, we've talked about letting yourself feel, finding those daily anchors, reaching out for connection, and giving your body some gentle care. Each one's like a stepping stone, helping you move through the days with a little less weight. But there's one more piece that can tie it all together, something that's about looking back and forward at the same time, honoring their memory in a way that feels right for you. Let's dive into that next, because there's something so special about carrying their memory with you, not just as a weight, but as a source of strength. Honoring your spouse doesn't mean building a monument or doing anything grand. It's about finding a way to keep them close that feels natural, even healing. For some folks, it's the little things that mean the most. I think of my friend Dorothy, who lost her husband a few years back. He loved gardening, and after he was gone, she started tending to the roses he'd planted. She'd talk to him while she pruned, telling him about her day or how stubborn the weeds were getting. It wasn't about forgetting the pain. It was about weaving him into her life in a way that felt alive, not stuck in the past. You can find your own way, something that fits who you are and what you shared. Maybe it's cooking their favorite recipe once in a while, letting the smell fill the kitchen like it used to. Or it could be keeping a photo out where you can see it, not hidden away, but part of your everyday. If they had a quirky habit, like collecting old coins or humming off key, you might smile about it and share that story with someone. It's not about dwelling. It's about letting their presence be a soft light instead of a shadow. And if you're up for it, you could even try something they always wanted to do together, like visiting a place you'd talked about. One woman I heard from took a short trip to the coast her husband had loved, just to sit by the waves for an afternoon. She said it felt like he was there, cheering her on. What's beautiful about this is that it's yours to shape, and it can change as you go. Some days, it might be quiet reflection. Others, it might be a little project that honors them. Over time, you'll notice it doesn't just keep them near, it helps you feel more like yourself again, too. It's like planting a seed in their name and watching it grow alongside you. Now, as we've walked through these ideas together, letting yourself feel, finding small joys, connecting with others, caring for your body, and honoring their memory, you might be thinking, okay, but does this really add up to peace? And I'd say, yes, it can. Because it's not about erasing grief. It's about making room for it while letting life creep back in. Think of it like a quilt. Those patches of sadness will always be there. But you're stitching in new colors too. Moments of calm, a laugh here and there, a day that feels a little lighter. You don't have to do it all at once. Even one small step can start to shift things. Maybe tomorrow you sit with a memory and let it be. Or you call someone just to say hello. That's enough to begin with. I hope you found something here that feels like it could work for you. Something to hold on to as you navigate this road. You're stronger than you might realize, even on the days when you don't feel it. And you deserve to find peace again, not all at once, but in those quiet, steady moments that build up over time. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. Maybe share what's helped you, or even just say hi. It's a little way we can connect. And I'm here reading every word. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. It helps more folks like us find these conversations. And if you want more ideas like this, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to keep chatting with you about living well, no matter what comes our way. You're not alone in this, and there's still so much good ahead for you. Here's to finding peace, one gentle step at a time, because you've got this, and they'd be so proud of you for it.